So I actually use that analogy a lot, where I always say, look, in dental school, I was not allowed to touch a patient in my first year, neither second, neither third. You know, you have to have first training, first theory. Once you've done your theory, I was going into labs, practicing on phantom heads, practice on plastic teeth, and then eventually you scale up to actually touching a real human and treating a person. So you've got to do the same in the market, where you're not going to go from day one treating a patient.
So did you do the same thing with the markets?
Through circumstance, yes. I was a student. I didn't really have the finances. Prop firms were not really a thing. So I was kind of like, I don't have the money to fund a live account, a big one. So I was like, okay, let me just stick with a couple hundred. And I did that for a long time. And that allowed me to build a skill set without me going in the hole and spending a lot of money.
And then when you enter the market, with real money, how quickly were you able to kind of like be?
Mine sounds like, before we were talking, similar to yours, where I've been in it now for 5 years, but the first 2 years were a write-off. But I kind of write off whatever, but it's more like those are my learning years. I continue to learn, actually probably learning more after the fact, because I kind of knew what to learn, looking internally, for example. But it's always a case of, you got to give yourself the time horizon. You're not going to do it in 6 months, no matter who your mentor is. It's not a 6-month thing. To extending the time horizon, putting in the correct principles along the way, and then knowing what level you are at to therefore justify what you should be doing. Where now the prop firms have opened up a huge opportunity set where, you know, for a very relatively low fee, you can access a lot of capital, and therefore you're always thinking of the upside. Well, you know, I was profitable this month on my demo. If only I did that on a prop firm, I'd be up 10K, whatever. So now that's actually allowing a lot of people to jump the gun. But I think the best thing to do is, with an amount you can afford, small amount, so you're still in those life conditions, do that for an extended period of time. That's where you're going to learn the most in that controlled environment.
Yeah, no, I asked that because I've realized in the past, I've seen people go from, like, you know, being a doctor or a dentist or surgeon or whatever, or respective field, they go into the market and they have a really hard time because they've excelled at something so well. And they're like, oh, I've excelled at this or I've excelled at that.
It's definitely a burden in a way. I'll explain, because I know my opportunity cost, whereas someone's opportunity cost might be, I will work in retail and I'll make 20K a year, and therefore the opportunity cost of keep trying to trade, I know I can make a lot more. But a dentist will make 6 figures a year and beyond. So I know that if I'm not surpassing that by a lot, why am I even in this industry? I should just go back with the established route, with the skill set I have, with the fixed income I know I can make, and I can grow in that field and compound that. But I've chosen to take the opportunity cost and actually say, okay, I'm not going to take any of that. And now my opportunity cost every year is actually a lot more than the average person. So it does become in my head like, okay, I've got to make everything count, because my alternative was actually pretty good, thanks to my family and the background I was given.